their own weapons. Egypt is a big country. Egypt is as big as Iran. But Egypt does not produce, it gets the money, they send so many billions of dollars to Egypt, but Egypt has to turn around. They can't spend that money on themselves. They have to buy the old weapons from over here, right? So it's a surplus. I mean, they get to buy, they got to buy all of this stuff, that they have here. They can't spend it on bread and butter, stuff like that. No, 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 no. That's not what it's for. So actually, everything that's designed in that military-industrial complex is for it to feed off of. So if you want to buy some of our old weapons, okay, we'll send them down to South America, right? Because that's all they're going to get is old weapons. I used to see it when I was down there. Up here, they was changing to different types of weapons. The police, and I saw all them old 38 specials down in South America. This is where they all went. They use them down there, use them till they wear out. Smith and Wesson, they all down there. Probably some of them are still there. Old six-shooters and all that are down there. All the old Abram tanks that the United States could push a button and get rid of it, they're all over everywhere. And the thing about one tank, they could build a university in Africa for what the cost of one tank. I mean, this is an old statistic. With one of the new tanks, no telling, they could build a system, hire all the teachers, and do the whole show. One tank from America. Okay. On the subject, the arsenal of democracy, the arsenal of Islam. That was the name of America. They called itself the arsenal of democracy. And in a way there was. Does anybody remember what period that was? It was 1939, 1940. See, they had an agreement. They had to find out how to help England. And so they developed a Lend-Lease policy. And they had a policy where you couldn't help people they had a policy now. You're not supposed to help belligerents. And of course they do help with the Saudis and everything. But they're traditional liars, they make the lie so they can always do this is our lie. We can do what we want, Oh, we're not doing that. You can say what you want. Okay, but anyway, let's move on. Today we mentioned it a few days ago, but this idea about the arsenal of democracy brings into mind, the arsenal of Islam, is about the resistance movement. The resistance movement today means we have to be innovative. Just like Iran was not innovative in the 1980 to 1988 Gulf War, the global blockade that we have now on the Muslims, right? All right, we have to run those blockades. Blockade running is one of the oldest things in history. And everything and all our people are set up for blockade running. Okay, now this goes back to the Islamic Republic of Iran. When they was calling the U.S. the arsenal of democracy, that was at the end of the Depression, right? So they was able to pull it off. When the war ended, the whole world was almost destroyed, except the U.S. here. They didn't have a bomb dropped on it. Yeah. Okay. Since these wars, petty wars, they're not petty wars. The war in Iraq, count up how many people was killed by the United States on a big lie. Weapons of mass destruction. Where are they at? Look how many people they killed. And they call themselves a democracy. Whatever they got, we don't want it. No, sirree, I'm telling you. Look at Afghanistan. They came over there 20 years ago. They came over there after Bin Laden wasn't there. It doesn't make it has nothing to do with, probably Bin Laden was dead from Jump Street. He had liver problems. He was going to the hospital and getting treatment, right? You can't get no liver treatment, whatever it is, up in the Tora Bora in the mountains there. They just destroyed Afghanistan. And then they hired a few people who are going to fix Afghanistan. You're going to fix it. Then you're going to leave, and you're going to leave all the weapons and tanks and helicopters. Not leave it. You're going to bring it over there just before you leave. You see what I mean? And why it even looks like that they're giving it to Afghanistan to fight the Iranians. But here's the thing. We have to remember a lot of things that they do, they won't be able to count on the results. A lot of things they do to other people, a lot of things they do to us, they can't count on us acting like they planned for us to act. And right now, they left all those weapons for Taliban, whoever they are. They can't use them. If they do use them, everybody's got their eye on them. You see, they didn't realize that instead of Afghanistan and maybe Iran, a few more to be isolated, they didn't realize that everything, by the time they go through one change, 20 years in Afghanistan, the people of Pakistan will be up to here with their stuff. Be up to here. Because all the fallout goes on them. The fallout. And Iran gets blessing. When they was having that war, and there was all those people getting killed on the war front, the Afghan refugees, they had 2 million refugees in Pakistan and 3 million in Iran. And in Iran, they went to school, they got college educated, and that was 40 years ago. And do you know how many, if you walked in the streets and saw anybody digging ditches, you could tell if they had their top clothes off, you could see by the way they dressed, they was Afghanis. Just like Mexicans would do and Latinos would do a lot of the work around here. That's the way Afghanis was. So they got a whole crew of people who at home speak Dari and other languages, but they have gotten a superior education, better education than anybody in that region, in Iran. Okay? And then they have this new crew that left. It's leaving now, today. Okay? They're going to be, and they are right now, in camps along the border. Well, if the dumb Taliban get out of line, they can get their nice training. Instead of Iran being tricked into a war, the Afghan themselves go right back across the border and fight. This second or third generation of Afghans, the ones that's going back now. When Afghanistan goes through that transition and the people gain control, think of the Afghans that they have in Iran that have a high level of education. Remember, and talk about women. Women in Iran, 60% of the people in the university are sisters. Right? Now, imagine the high tech, imagine Iran and agriculture where it is now. And the Afghans that are there and the ones that are coming. The ones that are coming, automatically, you go back as workers and what have you, but some of the others can go back as educators and trainees. And Dari is very close to Farsi. I mean, it's so, and they just languagize them a little bit. And out of all of the suffering and pain that they went through in Afghanistan, and with Iran the way they are, and agriculture, hot houses, and all of that stuff, poof, and their own weapons technology, they're basically the same people, you know, and they off to the races. Okay, but people have to have that feeling right now. Okay, remember, we're over here under different types of pressure, but we're looking at everything in a global. See, we're looking at all of this because we're global minded now. We know that we're not all alone here, right? And we know that they're not all alone. We know that this is a global, call it a universal struggle against right and wrong, against good and evil. And we know that. Okay. Now, other people may think it's about their own little nation, their own tribe, and what have you. And that's no problem because people think on the level that they are. But they have to have people in leadership positions, right, that help them work toward ultimate higher goals, right? So that even if the people thinking they're working for a tribal nationalistic goal, those people who are really thinking and motivating and managing are challenging their behavior, right, to help that national situation, although it's happening in a tribal area. Because as of now, that Islamic movement that we used to talk about really exists now. It exists because these dummies produced it. They produced it. They broke Iraq down and took Saddam out, or put him in a position to weaken Iraq and to destroy Iraq, so that as Iraq is rebuilt, it has to be rebuilt. But it should be rebuilt on a modern, what we know about modern building techniques, right? Where the houses may look the same, right? But we don't have, because it's a desert environment, big bricks like this over our head in the house. So when there's an earthquake, a little bitty teeny earthquake, them things fall and kill us, right? So we might have strong walls, big wide walls, long as you want, but light roofs. So when it falls, it hits you. But hey, it's just like stuff falling on your head in California. Ain't nobody going nowhere, right? Anyway, to use the Western powers have taken us back. They say we done bombed Afghanistan and Iraq back into the Stone Age. That was their goal. And they have destroyed a lot. But when they destroy that much, then you have to rebuild. And you have to use all your resources. And when you rebuild not on that, it might be on the old style, but in a new configuration. Right? And so that's the world that we're living in right now. That's the world that Syria, have anybody seen any of the, Syria is just destroyed. So it has to be rebuilt. And then there's other things that we can reach